All right, so we don't have any Blue Jackets content today because they haven't played in quite a while. But what we do have is some news. We're going to start out with some positives, like the St. Louis Blues really gunning for that first wild card spot after beating the Predators for their 8th win in a row. The Predators do suck, so don't read too much into that. However, they are only 2 points back on the Wild now, so it's really starting to show here that the Blues might be doing something. So that's good for them. But we do have some bigger news in John Tortorella getting fired by the Philadelphia Flyers. Sorry, I just forgot the name for a second. Tortorella said earlier, I believe yesterday actually, that he wasn't interested in learning how to coach this type of season. This type of season meaning my hockey team sucks, which is somewhat understandable. The Flyers have been not good this year. However, they just did beat the Canadiens for us, which is fantastic. 74 games played, 67 points for the Flyers, and 29-36-9 record is not going to do it. What I will say about it is, if Tortorella says it's bad, then it's pretty bad, because he has coached some pretty bad teams to some playoff spots. Teams that come to mind are a lot of the Blue Jackets teams that he coached in there. That 2018-19 team, while it ended up going well, I think people forget that they really struggled to get into a playoff spot and were very actually injured going into it. They did get healthy just in time, but they were not really humming, I guess is the right word there. He also snuck that 19-20 team into the playoffs as well, who are also not great. But yeah, and then obviously things didn't end well in 2021. He ended up retiring for a little bit, gave some interesting opinions, and then went to coach for the Flyers. There is a headline saying he failed to turn them around, and while I won't disagree, I do think he did better than expected, at least for last season. Flyers were expected to be one of the worst teams in the NHL, and they ended with 87 points and were in a playoff spot for most of the season, which is by no means a success, right? But, I mean, it is much better than people thought, I guess is what I'll say. I'll also say I don't necessarily disagree with his quote. Because I don't think it's something you would want to learn as a coach. Why would you ever want to learn to coach bad teams? The whole point of your job is to literally make sure your team isn't bad. So I don't necessarily disagree with that take, but I don't think it came out right, and I don't know if that's how he meant it. And some other news. Crosby ties, I believe, Wayne Gretzky for most point-a-game seasons at 20. Really just adds to his legacy. He's got 80 points in 72 games this year. That's really just another thing to just kind of have. He's already got everything. 3 Stanley Cups, 2 Art Ross, 2 Conn Smythe, 2 Hart trophies, a Mark Messier Leadership Award, 2 Rockets, 3 Lindsays. I mean, he's just kind of like that. I don't know if that's necessarily something he cares about. I think all he cares about is winning Stanley Cups, and unfortunately this Pittsburgh team is too bad and too incompetent to figure that out. It is a very old team, but I do think a lot of it has been some incompetency by their general manager, which is not saying I don't think he's a good general manager. I think Kyle Dubas is a pretty solid general manager. I just think that he's a little hamstrung with these old contracts that were signed before him. However, he did do that Erik Karlsson deal, so there's that. Another thing, these two are always tied together. Ovechkin leads the Capitals back out onto the ice after playing the Minnesota Wild to shake hands with Marc-Andre Fleury, who is a fantastic goaltender who will be retiring after the season and will also will be going into the Hall of Fame. Obviously, it's just nice to see stuff like that. It's always cool to kind of see sportsmanship, I guess. It's also nice to see that Ovi's 39 humming at over a point a game. I mean, Crosby's also 37, so, I mean, these two dudes are just kind of built different. Obviously, we all know Crosby's got the edge, whatever. He is. Crosby's the better of the two, probably. I think we'll say their individual success is very similar. However, the team success is where he separates himself. We all know this. But yeah, it's good to see both of them humming right now. The Capitals obviously first in the league right now. At the moment, it could have changed. They were first in the league, but so it's really cool to see them still having success. As coming with the success and talking about that, ESPN has ranked the Capitals first in the league. And the Jets second. Good for the Jets. Good for the Jets. The Jackets are all the way down at 22nd. They were, I believe, 14th before that. Yeah, they were 14th before that. So they've fallen quite a bit here, but I think they'll end up being fine because they've shown that they're able to dig their way out a couple of times here. They were pretty bad at the beginning of the season, and they put themselves back in a playoff spot. So I'm not too nervous about them, actually, funny enough. But yeah, so all things considered, decent day for news, and also a decent day for the Jackets because the pitiful Flyers just beat the Canadians. So Jackets are sitting pretty if they can somehow win tomorrow, but we will find out, and I will cover it then. But for now, that is all. I believe that's all I got for you. So I would like to appreciate anyone, if they are listening, for listening.